So we're building a hope community that is the people's in their hands to help initiatives that are really providing hope for people who are really feeling hopelessness at this point. Civilians are lost. They're like, what can I do? No, for 2 months we've been in Bet Kama down south and providing also medicines to the people who were not evacuated. And it was danger to go in, so they had to go in with people who are armed. Basically, after 2 months of doing that, I couldn't go back to my day job, and I decided to initiate the Lumiflies.
Welcome to Women Ending War, the podcast where Palestinian and Israeli women talk about partnerships for peace, real solutions, and ideas for crafting a new world.
It's where we express our pain, anger, dreams, creativity, and vision, where hope is a conscious choice.
معاكم أميرة مسلم.
I'm Ilana Stockman. Thanks for joining us. Hello, Rina. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
Nice to see you today. We're here today with Rina Naor, founder of a project called Lumiflies, a very unique and special approach to peace building through dots of hope. Is that what you call it? Dots of hope.
Yes. So, Lumifly is a hope incubator. The Hope Incubator, where we help joint collaborative Jewish and Arabs, Israelis and Palestinians, and allies. We don't care. But what we do is we help initiatives from all domains of life, not only technology. It could be from education, the arts, animation, media. And what we do, we help them to amplify, to bring their voices out, to scale them, to help them to grow, and to build a financial sustainability, and to reduce the dependency on philanthropy. So we build business models, how to help them generate income. And we do it through a hope community. So we're building a hope community that is the people's in their hands to help initiatives that are really providing hope for people who are really feeling hopelessness at this point. Civilians are lost. They're like, what can I do? So the essence of the hope community is to bring power to the people and help build peace.
Beautiful. That sounds exciting. So can you give us a couple of examples of what you're incubating?
Yeah, so the story literally started. I was not coming from the peace space. Before, I'm 50 years old. I've been working in the high tech. I'm doing startups, technology, social impact with technology. But following the 7th of October, like most people, we were really feeling hopelessness. Like, what can I do? This is not in my control. And you feel like it's all in the leaders. And in Israel, there was an amazing moment of time where all Israelis left in the first day or the second day of the war and started to volunteer intuitively. Some start preparing food, helping refugees. There were like thousands of refugees fleeing from the south. And personally, I found myself, the first initiatives was like, my friend had a restaurant, everything was locked down. He was calling me up, said, listen, I have 100 kilos of schnitzel. If I'm not frying it, I need to throw it. Can you do something about it? And we arranged the whole community to fry schnitzels, and we just made sandwiches and sent it down south to the refugees. And so
to displaced communities. Wow.
Displaced communities, yes, from Otef Gaza. So people who are looking to do something, to feel like they can do something, it's in their control. And following that experience, I said, okay, that's what I need to do now, is do something. And I initiated, I don't know how you say it in English, it's called Hamal Trufot.
Like a medicine, like emergency. Prescription.
Yeah, so basically, me and my two friends, we initiated a group of WhatsApp with 300 doctors because we had connections to doctors. and 300 pharmacists, because we had connections to pharmacists. We're old, we have a lot of good network, and another 300 volunteers. And people who fled down from the south were really afraid. They fled and they left their medicine behind, but they couldn't even buy new medicine because they already used their prescriptions for this month. So we were like using medical students as volunteers, and in WhatsApp group, we initiated help to those refugees. We published this WhatsApp group and said, anyone who needs prescription, just do a thumbs up, and thumbs up, we go privately because of private protections, and thumbs up to the doctors who is available in Maccabi, which is like the medical insurance, or Maklali, which is another company, and goes offline, gives the ID number, and immediately in seconds provide the prescriptions. And then volunteers, where are you located? Where did you flee? Down south, Tel Aviv, where are you at? We had volunteers from all around the country. So they literally said, who's available in Tel Aviv? Went to buy the medication and went to the specific hotel where the person were sitting there. So, for 2 months, we've been in Bet Kama down south and providing also medicines to the people who were not evacuated. And it was dangerous to go in. So they had to go in with people who are armed to make sure that there was still Hamas around it. So basically, after 2 months of doing that, I couldn't go back to my day job, and I decided to initiate the Lumifly.
Wow! So
Yeah.
this whole event became transformative for you in your career and your vision. So what do you want Lumiflies to achieve?
I'm a true believer in the power of the people. And I believe in the responsibility that everyone could be a dot of hope. We envision a hope community of millions of Jewish and Arabs, Israelis and Palestinians, and allies. It doesn't really matter. That believe that the only way is peace and to find a solution. And we believe in building this community, but the community has an important role. And it connects to the story of why we're doing what we're doing. Because when we initiated Lumifly, we had a vision that we want to build a virtual world, right? No land, so there's no need to argue. We can start equal as basic and start building together a new world. With healthcare systems, with financial services, with education. Today you can do everything on the virtual world, right? So the idea was to build a virtual world. I'm coming from the tech space. But in reality, when we went down to the field and learn about this space, we found out 166 peace initiatives of collaborative between Jewish and Arabs. And we were overwhelmed. We never heard about
that's AllMap, right? The AllMap coalition they're now up to 180, right? That
exactly.
They're growing all the time. The number of organizations that are dedicated to this, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not coming from this space, and I was like, we found LMAP only at the end. So we were like looking around, and we found these initiatives in education, this in technology, this and this, and like, no, I can't believe after the 7th of October, they're still collaborating, they're still insisting. But the main topic in those initiatives that we were looking for are two sides, equal, Jewish and Arabs, working together for the benefit of both sides. So we were looking for specific initiatives that illustrate what the vision of a new good world it could look like, right? The
shared society, the shared society vision, yes. Mm-hmm.
So it's we found so many initiatives, we were like overwhelmed, said, how come I couldn't hear about them? And this is why we decided, said, okay, we don't need to build a virtual world. All we need to do is to ask them, how can we help? And we came and asked them, we did a lot of interviews with those initiatives. And the bottom line, all of them had 3 challenges, where this is where Lumifly is coming from. So the first challenge is like I experienced, they want to be heard. Mm-hmm. So our role is to amplify the voices of those activities. The second role is to help them scale. So we're coming from the high-tech industry. We are, by the way, 4 founders, half Jewish, half Arabs, and we are coming not from the peace space, but we're coming with business tools and strategies and abilities to create methods how to scale and how to grow a business. And we see those organizations also as a potential to grow them with business tools. So our second role is, the first role is amplifying. Second is to scale, to help them grow with all those tools that we have from the high-tech industry. And the third one is to build business sustainability. So all of them are pending, not all, because we also chose business initiatives, not only NGOs, but all of them are really dependent on philanthropy. And this where comes social impact, is how do we do good, do well, and develop products for them that they can sell. And by selling their product, they can generate revenue and be less dependent on philanthropy, especially in times of war where philanthropy, I said, like, there's an inflation of needs. There's so much need following the war for philanthropy that the peace camp is suffering because people are saying, what peace now? There are orphans, there are injured, there's so many horrors of war that we need, humanitarian needs in Gaza. There's so many horrors that we need to handle before we have peace. So we truly believe that we need to build business sustainability for them in order to grow, scale, and amplify.
Can you give us an example of one that,
Yes, I have. So we are in incubator. We build an incubator like in the high-tech industry where like startups, they come in and they get mentors and they get help with all kinds of expertise, whether legal, accounting, strategy, etc. But in this incubator, we chose different type of domains. And we chose different just to illustrate that in every domain it's possible. So we chose one for example, we have from education a program called Architecture of Hope. Basically, they're operating since 2015, where a Bedouin school here in Rahat with a school in Sha'ar HaNegev, which is the school who got attacked on the 7th of October, and a school in Hamburg, in Germany, that is in a place where there is a lot of immigrants, Arab immigrants. So the initiative of this program was a teacher in the school in Hamburg. And he decided to stop teaching about hate. It's not teaching. No one is teaching hate in Germany, but there's so much hate in those neighborhoods. And he said, okay, I want to stop the cycle of hate. And he started to teach the kids about the Holocaust. And he went to Israel. He formed connections with those 2 schools, an Arab and a Jewish school. And since 2015, they've been generating, if you go to learn drama in a high school in those schools, you create drama around the conflict. For example, the first year, the kids are creating works of art and drama around what hate does to my body. So how do I feel when I hate? And how do I feel when I'm being hated? The second year, they're transforming from hate into hope. What is hope for them, and how do they translate it? And they create narratives of drama. And this brilliant guy, Eddie, he's an amazing entrepreneur. He's been a celeb in Germany. He's winning prizes. But he's so brilliant. He said, okay, to change people's mindset. You know, if I'm telling you young teenagers are challenging the conflict after the 7th of October and talking it together with narratives of art. So if teenagers are doing that together, who are we as adults not even to learn from them how they're doing that? right? So, for example, he understood that adults would not come to a play of schools, right? I go to my kids' play, and that's enough for me. And what he did, he formed a collaboration with world-leading artists that are escorting this program. And by the end of the year, every year, they produce an exhibition in Hamburg that invites the public to learn how Jewish and Arab teenagers are challenging the conflict with a very authentic and emotional debate and creatives of arts. Now, in Hamburg, it's a 4 days festival, and here, no one hears about it. No one even knows that it exists.
How can that be? How can that be? How can that be?
So this is why we are doing what we're doing.
That's really distressing, I have to say. I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful project, amazing project. I don't understand it because it reinforces, by the way, a lot of what I'm experiencing in this war, which is that people outside of this area know more about like what's going on, for instance, and they know more about what's going on in Gaza, what's going on in the West Bank than Israelis do. Like Israelis don't know. Like you said, when you didn't know that there were 160 or 180 projects, we don't hear about it. The rest of the world knows about it, but we don't. See, I find that it's true and it's distressing. But anyway, okay, but the project sounds beautiful. Okay.
But you're touching on a very important point because our vision is to make we have this statement, let's go viral on hope. We want to create a platform, and we have an Instagram channel, the Hope Incubator, that we are telling the daily stories of what's going on behind the scenes of those amazing initiatives. So 2 weeks ago, I was in an event, Chasidei Umot HaOlam. How do you say it in English? I'm sorry.
The righteous Gentiles.
So Tag Me'il, which is one of our initiatives in our incubator, we have 7, did an amazing event for 2 Palestinians who saved 51 Jewish lives only in the last year. So post 7th of October, 2 Palestinians who got hurt while saving lives of 51 Jewish people. Wow. And this event should be headlines of news.
Yeah, right.
No one hears about it. It was not in no place. And this is where our role comes in the Hope community. We want millions of people that, bringing back the responsibility of each person to be a dot of hope. I want millions of people who believe that this is the right way to solve the conflict to stand up and say, my role is to amplify this work. Right. So to join the community is to amplify what those amazing initiatives are doing on a daily basis.
Yeah. I'm with you about the media. I mean, I feel like I'm doing similar work also. Like I feel like a huge responsibility to tell these stories out there in the world, in large part because, in Israel, we are not exposed to hope. We are exposed to endless hatred, endless messages teaching us to hate all the time on purpose because, it has there's a political agenda to it. And I also feel very, very strongly about how important it is to share that people are on the grassroots. There are people who are collaborating, who are humanizing the other, who are able to see each other as people as opposed to they're the enemy. It's so, yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to talk a little bit about hatred. I'm a strong believer that when people are afraid, the tendency to go to the negative element to survive is an outcome. So leaders are taking advantage of the fear the civilians have for their survival, I would say. And it's not the truth, right? So, but the leaders are taking advantage of fear to survive.
They're not just taking advantage, they're doing it on purpose. They're implanting fear in order to promote support for particular actions. I mean, we see this all the time. And also, like, I had a conversation with someone. I was telling someone about something really nice and hopeful and they said, "Oh yeah, there are a couple of, there are a few good Arabs." He says to me, "There are some good Arabs," and I was like, "What?" I said, "It's the exact opposite. In other words, you shouldn't be hearing a good story and thinking like, oh, that's the exception. You should be here. If you hear a bad story, you should think that's the exception. You should be thinking all human beings are human beings, and that if something bad happens, okay, something bad happens, but that shouldn't color." That shouldn't color the entire group. We shouldn't be making judgments on entire groups. We shouldn't judge people based on the worst things that somebody in that group did. We should start from the assumption that people are good. And that's like, I feel like that has like gotten lost here. That's like totally gotten lost in Israel, Anyway, so I really appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you, but I think we are not also naive on what we're doing. We are calling it dots of hope because the divide is so big
The
between the
divide is big.
community, and the mistrust
Distrust.
is enormous, and the suffering and pain.
Right.
Hirsch's father had this very strong statement that I take with me. Hirsch's father, the hostage, just got killed.
Pollen good.
And he was saying, in the competition of misery, there are no winners.
Right.
And this goes with me every step of the way. It's not, there's so much bad now, but our role is to look behind it and put those little dots of light to see that it's dots. It's very small. I wish there were millions, but there aren't. There are like 180s, right? But those dots are, we always say you can't be what you can't see. And our role is to see and to show people that it's out there. And there are still people who believe that this is the only way to resolve this conflict. And this is the role of Lumiflies, really to get that out to the world and amplify it.
Fantastic. And you're all volunteers, you said? You told me?
Yes, we are. I took a Sabaton. I left my day job, and for the last year I've been fully dedicated to build these initiatives. And now we are on the fundraising process, where also it's very, very hard to raise money for peace activists, especially in the times of war, where I would have think strategically to get out of war. Afterward, there's always peace. So my logic works differently from I don't know, from philanthropy, because you need to invest in the strategy forward. You can't put a Band-Aid on those challenges. You need to put Band-Aids, but you need to also look strategic-wise. And therefore, also we are like our incubator programs, and we decided that we want to generate revenue by ourselves, by the community. And what we built is a business model for membership to come once a month, like going to a movie. Imagine that you uplift your mind once a month, where we come with the stories of our amazing initiatives. So one event is about Architecture of Hope, where you would not believe it. They have 3 public documentaries on the kids, on their work, and how they do what they do. And just a hope event for 1 month could be the documentary and the discussions with the creators. For example, they did this exhibition after the 7th of October, and a dialogue about what was the challenges of the kids and the teachers and all the clashes. So we believe that we can do once a month a hope event about each one about a different initiatives, show the work, and also have an interesting discussions. There are works of art. So we by the way, we already did 3 hope events, physical hope events, and they were super successful. So what we offer today is for the public to be a member in Lumifly and come once a month to see an event, a virtual event. And we're selling it in like 50 shekels, like a movie, like go to a movie. But instead of going to a movie, come and uplift your mind and consume hope. We have 3 layers. We in our community, our first layer is to uplift your mind. So start consuming the hope content, be a member in the hope community. But we believe that as I said, we believe in human connections, but if you don't take, we also believe that you need to take action. Everyone has a responsibility to do something. So we are offering our community to, first of all, transform themselves into influencers in their own community. So we are working with volunteers who are saying, we're telling them, give us 1 hour a week. You don't need a lot, but 1 hour a week as a volunteer in Lumifly. And what we do with the volunteers, we transform them into be influencers in their own community to bring the Hope events and the activities to their own community. So we have an offering to do a on-site Hope event and bring people in, and we have offering to do this virtual, but only for community. So we're also working on that. And last but not least, and that's the most amazing story, we are a true believer on the effects of the butterfly, right? So, and saying that, we did a Hope event in Jaffa Theater. It was sold out. It was very exciting.
When?
And in December.
Mm-hmm.
We had to postpone it because we had that on the attack of Iran. So we postponed it to December. Okay. It was on November when we moved it. Okay. But the only thing we did is, like, if you know, a pitch night in the startup nation. So you bring to investors, the audience are investors, and every startup get a chance to go on stage for 3 minutes and pitch his offering. So we took that model and we invited our 7 amazing initiatives, and they did a pitch. But the audience were all kinds of people, from community people, common people. And you would not believe it, but there was, and that's the 4th layer. In that audience, there were 2 people who got excited that it ignites hope in them, and they started to initiate their own initiatives. And this is where we come to the community. What is your passion? What is your domain? Okay, you're a photographer, you are a lawyer, whatever you are. If you want, you can do it yourself. We'll find you a partner from the other side, and work yourself out and find what you together want to do in your own domain to just connect people to each other. Because when people know each other, they simply can't hate. It's very simple. We're going back to humanity. So in the Jaffa event, we had two new initiatives, one in tourism and one in education, that approached us. But the beautiful story about it is that there was a principal of a high school sitting there, of a school in Hedera, a democratic school. And 3 days after the event, he sends me picture of his teachers volunteering in Tag Meir, going to visit a doctor, an Arab doctor who got attacked by someone who's mentally ill, but he screamed death to Arabs, and he attacked a doctor. And the teachers, Jewish and Arabs together, with Tag Meir, they went to visit for a solidarity visit for this doctor. So I get this picture with the teachers and the doctor at his home. And I said, okay, I've done mine. The butterfly wing is working well, because people just knew to act by themselves. But this amazing principal, he took it another step. He calls me up and said, okay, the program in education, I want that in my school as well. And he's coming and saying, I need to prepare the community for this program, because you need to understand, kids in Israel, they hear Arabic today, Jewish kids, and they are afraid. This is the sad reality. So the only way to deal with it is to expose slowly, and rebuild those bridges that were broken. And he decided to do a Hope event in his own school. But the beauty of it is that the kids arranged the Hope event. We didn't do anything. We just came as like the pitch night. I came and I pitched Lumifly, and God's Gang came and showed their activity, and Architecture of Hope came and showed their activity. But the kids took responsibility for the whole event. So in between the pitch, they created songs in Hebrew and in Arabic, and they sang it together. And it was really amazing. So our fourth layer, which is an advanced layer, is how do we motivate the community, each one in his own domain, to take action. So, and it looks like it's working, but
it's working. It's happening. You haven't been around that considering you haven't been around that long. That's a lot of signs of success. And so, okay, fantastic, amazing, sounds great. So, Rina, thank you so much for sharing with us, and keep up the great work. Share with us your links so we can share with our community as well. And
I just want to, for the links, I'm going to share you two links. One link is our website. So in our website, you can sign up for the community. So it's just filling out your names, and I'll connect to you directly to discuss. And please, please, please like, follow, and share our Instagram, Hope Incubator. I'll send that as well.
Amazing. We'll share your links for sure. Thank you so much, Rina, for taking the time to be here today, and good luck with everything. Keep up the amazing work. The hope, building hope. I love that.
Thanks for listening to Women Ending War. If you want to help create change, you should join us.
Subscribe, like, comment, or share. Tell your friends about us. Talk about it. Be part of the solution.
Thanks, and see you next time.